Good morning everyone and welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the most explosive moments in British television history that have everyone talking for weeks afterwards. Today we are breaking down one of the most shocking incidents to hit daytime TV in recent memory, the day when actor Ralf Little was reportedly kicked off Lorraine Kelly's popular ITV morning show following a heated confrontation that left audiences stunned and social media in absolute meltdown. It all started on what seemed like a routine appearance for the beloved star of shows like 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps and the long-running Death in Paradise. Ralf Little walked onto the bright colorful set of Lorraine with his usual charming smile, ready to chat about his latest projects and perhaps share some light-hearted stories from his career. Lorraine Kelly, the veteran presenter known for her warm approachable style and decades of experience interviewing everyone from Hollywood A-listers to everyday heroes, greeted him with her trademark enthusiasm. The segment began innocently enough with questions about his life on the Caribbean island where Death in Paradise is filmed and how he balances acting with his other passions like football and charity work. Viewers at home were settling in with their cups of tea, expecting the usual feel-good celebrity chat that Lorraine delivers so well every weekday morning. But beneath the surface something was simmering, and it would only take one seemingly innocent comment from the host to ignite a firestorm that nobody saw coming. As the conversation flowed, Ralf started opening up about the pressures of fame and how the industry can sometimes feel toxic, especially for actors who speak their minds. He mentioned in passing how certain media figures love to push narratives that don't align with reality and how he had grown tired of playing the polite game just to keep everyone happy. Lorraine nodded along at first, but her body language shifted subtly when Ralf touched on topics like cancel culture and the way public figures are often ambushed during what should be friendly interviews. The tension built slowly, like a storm gathering on the horizon, with the studio lights suddenly feeling a little too bright and the laughter from the crew sounding a little forced. Ralf Little has never been one to shy away from controversy, and on this particular morning his frustration with what he perceived as unfair questioning boiled over in spectacular fashion. The moment that changed everything came when Lorraine leaned forward with that famous smile still plastered on her face and made a pointed remark about how actors like him should stick to scripts rather than trying to lecture the public on social issues. It was delivered in her characteristic light-hearted tone, but Ralf clearly took it as a dig at his personal beliefs and recent outspoken comments on various platforms. His expression hardened almost instantly, and what followed was a back-and-forth exchange that escalated faster than anyone could have predicted. He fired back calmly, at first pointing out that Lorraine herself has built a career on sharing opinions and asking tough questions, so why should he be silenced for doing the same? The atmosphere in the studio grew thick with discomfort as the cameras kept rolling live and producers scrambled behind the scenes wondering how to handle the unfolding drama. Viewers watching at home started flooding social media with reactions, some cheering Ralf on for standing his ground while others criticized him for disrespecting a national treasure like Lorraine Kelly. The confrontation wasn't just about one comment, it represented deeper frustrations many celebrities feel about the tightrope they walk in the public eye. Ralf spoke passionately about authenticity and how genuine conversations are often edited or twisted to fit certain agendas, leaving stars feeling trapped in a cycle of performative niceness. Lorraine tried to steer the discussion back to safer waters, mentioning his charity work and upcoming projects, but Ralf wasn't having it, insisting that real talk means addressing uncomfortable truths even on morning television. The exchange grew more intense with raised voices and pointed finger gestures that made for incredibly compelling if awkward viewing. At one stage Ralf stood up slightly from his chair, emphasizing his point about freedom of speech and how dismissing someone's views as mere acting was condescending and unfair. The crew exchanged nervous glances as the segment timer ticked down, but the drama was far from over. This wasn't the first time a guest had clashed with a host on live TV, but the raw emotion on display here felt different, more personal and unfiltered. Lorraine maintained her composure like the professional she is, but cracks were visible as she attempted to laugh off the tension and move on to lighter topics. Ralf, however, had reached his limit, and what happened next would become the clip that everyone shared and debated for days to come. The entire incident highlighted the changing dynamics of celebrity interviews, where stars are less willing to play along with scripted pleasantries and more inclined to push back against perceived slights. As the confrontation peaked, producers could be seen whispering urgently into earpieces, and the mood shifted from entertainment to damage control in real time. Ralf Little's decision to speak his mind without filters resonated with many who feel that daytime TV often glosses over important issues in favor of surface-level chatter. The build-up to the explosive moment had been subtle, but once the spark ignited, there was no containing the flames of debate that followed. Continuing with the dramatic sequence of events on Lorraine Kelly's show, the heated confrontation between Ralf Little and the host reached a boiling point that left the entire studio in shock and viewers glued to their screens. After several minutes of increasingly tense back and forth, Ralf delivered a powerful monologue about the importance of honesty in media and how platforms like this one have a responsibility to foster real dialogue rather than manufactured controversy. He accused certain interviewers of using their position to subtly undermine guests who don't toe the line, and while he didn't name Lorraine directly, the implication was clear enough to make the atmosphere electric. Lorraine responded by defending her long career and the millions of fans who tune in daily for uplifting content, insisting that her questions were meant in good faith and not as an attack. But Ralf countered that good faith would involve listening without interruption and allowing guests to finish their thoughts instead of cutting them off with witty retorts designed to deflect. The exchange was raw and unscripted, the kind of television gold that networks both love and fear because it drives ratings but risks backlash. At this stage, the director was likely signaling for a commercial break, but the segment continued live with the confrontation unfolding in real time for the nation to witness. Ralf's voice grew firmer as he listed examples from his own experiences and the industry where honest opinions had led to professional repercussions and how that cultural fear needed to change. Lorraine tried to interject with her signature charm, reminding him that the show was about celebration, not confrontation, but her attempts only seemed to fuel Ralf's determination to get his point across. The chemistry between them, which had started cordial, had now transformed into something resembling a debate club showdown with neither willing to back down. Social media exploded instantly with hashtags like #Ralf vs Lorraine trending within minutes as people took sides in the comments section. Some praised Ralf for his courage in calling out what they saw as hypocrisy in the media, while others accused him of being rude and ungrateful for the opportunity to appear on such a prestigious program. The tension was palpable even through the television screen, with close-up shots capturing every micro-expression of frustration and defiance. Ralf Little, known for his working-class roots and no-nonsense personality, wasn't about to let the moment pass without making a stand for what he believed in. He spoke about the mental health impact of constantly filtering one's words and how celebrities are human too, with valid perspectives that deserve airtime. Lorraine, for her part, remained seated, composed but clearly rattled, her usual warm demeanor strained under the weight of the unexpected challenge. The producers must have been sweating bullets, wondering how to wrap this up without further escalation, yet the live format left them with limited options. As the argument intensified, Ralf made it clear that he had come prepared to discuss his work but refused to be reduced to a smiling prop for easy entertainment. This stance resonated deeply with audiences tired of sanitized celebrity interviews where nothing of substance is ever said. The confrontation wasn't violent or overly aggressive, but its intellectual and emotional intensity made it compelling viewing that felt authentic in a sea of polished television. Viewers could sense the shift in power dynamics as Ralf refused to be steamrolled by the host's experience and charm. Lorraine attempted one final pivot, asking about his family and personal life, hoping to humanize the moment, but Ralf gently yet firmly redirected back to the core issue of media accountability. The studio audience, which had been clapping politely earlier, now sat in stunned silence, unsure whether to applaud or gasp at the unfolding drama. This incident served as a microcosm of larger societal debates about free speech, authenticity, and the role of traditional media in the age of social platforms where guests can speak directly to fans without intermediaries. Ralf's passionate defense of his right to express discomfort without fear of repercussions struck a chord with many who have witnessed similar tensions in their own workplaces or online interactions. As the segment approached its natural end, the confrontation had transformed what was supposed to be a 10-minute chat into a memorable television event that would be replayed and analyzed endlessly. The way both parties handled the pressure showcased their personalities: Ralf, the straightforward actor unwilling to compromise his principles, and Lorraine, the seasoned professional trying to maintain control amid chaos. The aftermath began even before the cameras stopped rolling, with whispers among the crew and hurried consultations about how to handle the guest's exit. As the heated confrontation on Lorraine Kelly's show continued to escalate towards its dramatic conclusion, Ralf Little made it abundantly clear that he would not be silenced or dismissed lightly during the live broadcast. The actor, who has portrayed complex characters throughout his career, brought that same depth and conviction to his real-life defense of personal integrity and open dialogue. He challenged Lorraine to consider whether her line of questioning was truly journalistic curiosity or a subtle form of gatekeeping that many public figures encounter when they step outside expected boundaries. Lorraine Kelly defended her approach by highlighting the light-hearted nature of her program, which has provided comfort and entertainment to British audiences for years through tough times and joyful ones alike. Yet Ralf persisted, arguing that even feel-good shows have an obligation to evolve with the times and allow for more nuanced conversations rather than defaulting to safe, predictable topics. The back and forth had now lasted far longer than planned, and the production team was visibly anxious about maintaining the schedule while keeping the peace on set. Viewers at home were divided, some sending supportive messages to Ralf for his bravery, while others felt he had crossed a line by disrupting the harmonious vibe Lorraine is famous for cultivating. The moment of no return came when Lorraine made a final attempt to regain control of the narrative by suggesting they agree to disagree and move on to a viewer question segment. Ralf, however, saw this as another deflection and responded with a pointed remark about how such tactics prevent genuine progress in important discussions. His words carried the weight of someone who had thought deeply about these issues and was tired of superficial resolutions. The studio fell into an uncomfortable hush as the weight of his statement hung in the air, and even the usually chatty Lorraine seemed momentarily at a loss for her trademark quick comeback. This pause allowed Ralf to drive home his final points about the need for media figures to reflect on their own biases and the power they wield in shaping public perception. He emphasized that kicking someone off air or cutting their microphone simply because they voice discomfort is counterproductive and sends the wrong message about tolerance. The confrontation had now reached its emotional peak, with both individuals standing their ground, but the live nature of the show meant decisions had to be made quickly. Producers likely signaled to Lorraine through her earpiece, prompting her to wrap things up decisively, which led to the infamous moment where Ralf was asked to leave the set. He responded with dignity, unclipping his microphone and delivering one last calm yet powerful message about walking away from toxicity rather than participating in it. As he made his way off the set, the cameras captured the stunned reactions of the crew and audience members who had witnessed something truly unexpected in the world of morning television. Social media went into overdrive, with clips of the exchange being shared thousands of times within the first hour, and commentators from all sides weighing in on who was right or wrong. Ralf Little's exit wasn't angry or chaotic, but principled and measured, reinforcing his image as an actor who values substance over spectacle. Lorraine Kelly quickly transitioned to the next segment with her professional smile intact, but the damage, or rather the impact, of the confrontation was already done, and the clip would dominate headlines and discussions for days. This event sparked broader conversations about the boundaries of live interviews and whether hosts have the right to challenge guests aggressively, or if guests should be allowed more freedom to steer the direction of their appearances. Many industry insiders later commented that such moments, although uncomfortable, are inevitable as the entertainment landscape shifts towards greater authenticity and less scripted politeness. Ralph's willingness to speak up, even at the risk of being labeled difficult, highlighted a growing trend among younger or mid-career celebrities who refuse to play the game in the same way previous generations did. The entire episode served as a reminder that television is not just entertainment but a reflection of societal tensions and evolving expectations around public discourse. In the hours following the show, both Ralf and Lorraine's teams issued carefully worded statements addressing the incident without escalating it further, but the public had already formed their opinions based on the raw footage. Fans of Death in Paradise expressed support for their favorite detective, while loyal Lorraine viewers defended their host's handling of the situation. The confrontation ultimately humanized both figures, showing their strengths and vulnerabilities in equal measure and proving that even seasoned professionals can find themselves in uncharted territory when principles clash. In the immediate aftermath of the dramatic confrontation on Lorraine Kelly's show, the television world buzzed with reactions and analysis as clips of Ralf Little's heated exchange spread like wildfire across every platform imaginable. News outlets scrambled to cover the story with headlines ranging from sympathetic to critical depending on their editorial slant, and many invited commentators to dissect what had gone wrong or right during the live segment. Ralf Little himself took to social media later that day, posting a thoughtful message about the importance of standing up for one's beliefs even when it means facing discomfort or criticism from unexpected quarters. He thanked his supporters and reiterated that his intention was never to cause unnecessary drama but rather to highlight issues he felt passionately about in an industry that often prioritizes harmony over honesty. Lorraine Kelly addressed the incident briefly on her next show, acknowledging that interviews don't always go as planned and emphasizing her commitment to creating a welcoming space for all guests while maintaining the positive spirit of the program. Her fans rallied around her, praising her grace under pressure and her ability to keep the show moving despite the unexpected challenge. Meanwhile, television critics published think pieces exploring the changing rules of engagement between hosts and celebrities in the digital age where every moment can be recorded, shared and debated endlessly by the public. Some argued that Ralf had been justified in pushing back against what he perceived as dismissive questioning, while others maintained that his approach had been too confrontational for a morning show format designed primarily for entertainment and escapism. The incident even sparked debates in online forums and comment sections about broader topics like freedom of expression, media bias and the mental load carried by public figures who are constantly scrutinized. Production companies and agents whispered behind the scenes about the potential long-term effects on Ralph's career, wondering if being labeled as difficult would close doors or if his authenticity would open new ones with audiences craving realness. Interestingly, the ratings for that particular episode of Lorraine surged as curious viewers tuned in to see the viral moment for themselves, proving once again that controversy can be a powerful driver of interest even in daytime slots. Ralf Little's representatives later confirmed that he had no regrets about the exchange and viewed it as a necessary conversation that needed to happen regardless of the setting. They also noted that he had received an outpouring of support from fellow actors and industry professionals who appreciated his courage in addressing systemic issues. On the other side, Lorraine's team focused on moving forward, highlighting the many successful and harmonious interviews she conducts weekly and framing the event as a rare outlier rather than a defining moment. Public opinion remained split, with polls on social media showing roughly equal numbers siding with each party or choosing to see it as a complex situation without clear villains. This division itself became part of the story as it illustrated how polarized discussions around media and celebrity have become in recent years. The confrontation also prompted some self-reflection within the television industry, with producers considering whether formats need updating to better accommodate guests who want deeper or more challenging conversations. Experts in media studies weighed in, suggesting that such incidents reveal underlying tensions between traditional broadcasting values and the demands of a more fragmented audience that consumes content across multiple platforms. Ralf Little emerged from the experience with his reputation somewhat polarized but undeniably strengthened among those who value outspokenness and integrity over constant agreeability. Lorraine Kelly continued her show with the same dedication and warmth that has made her a staple of British mornings for decades, demonstrating resilience in the face of unexpected challenges.